Hello and welcome to another episode of Geared Toward Gear. My name is Sean and I am so glad you're here. Today we're doing an EDC update. A couple things have changed as far as kind of how I carry my daily essentials in my EDC bag. And spoiler alert, which I guess probably isn't much of a spoiler since you've read the description, it is a fanny pack, which we're going to get to in just a moment. But first I want to cover a few things that are on the table and kind of talk through a bit of my philosophy with kind of my EDC. And I did a video on this a while back, and that video was called something like the 4 most important EDC items or something to that effect. And what I was essentially saying in that video is that there are 4 items that I consider non-negotiables, frankly. So if I'm going to be leaving the home to go run errands or go somewhere, there's 4 things at a minimum that I'll always have. Now, granted, having my cell phone and my keys and my wallet, that kind of goes without saying. But as far as like EDC gear, these are the 4 things that I will always have on me if I'm outside the home. A flashlight of some sort. This happens to be one of my favorites, the Surefire EDC L1T. I will always have a tourniquet. This is a soft T wide tourniquet. I've done a video on how I flat pack these. A folding knife of some sort, and my concealed handgun, which in this case is a P365XL Romeo 0. So those are the things that are going to be on my person, right? So when we talk about my EDC bag, we're not going to be including these items. We're just going to be talking about the things that I keep in my bag to have around nearby and handy to be used throughout the day. So with that said, let's get some of this stuff maybe just off to the side. We may be able to keep it in frame a little bit, possibly. And let's bring in my EDC bag, which is a fanny pack. And I have no shame in admitting that my EDC bag is a fanny pack. Now, Carhartt, who makes this, would tell you that this is a waist pack. Some might call it a hip pack. But I grew up in the 90s. I took a lot of family road trips and vacations, and I saw what my dad wore. This is a fanny pack. I don't care what you want to call it, how you want to market it. It's a fanny pack, and I'm perfectly fine with that. And I specifically remember as a kid on a few road trips, my dad had a fanny pack. I want to say it was leather. I'm pretty certain it was leather, just like your classic late 80s, early 90s fanny pack. It was unbelievable. Dad, if you're watching, put a comment down below if you remember that. But the reason I'm using this particular vessel is because it's super convenient. And I've gone through a number of iterations with my EDC bag. Over the last decade or so, I've probably tried and used at least 30 different bags of all different types. Sling bags, backpacks, messenger bags. And kind of where I've evolved in my everyday carry, I landed in a more simple and minimalist sort of place. I believe this pack here is a 1 liter capacity, so it's not a very large bag. It measures somewhere around 10 inches wide, like 6 inches tall, and just a couple inches deep. So it's not too large. So let's get into the bag and talk about what I carry. The bag itself goes for something like 30 bucks. It's a Carhartt brand. It's made from genuine Cordura nylon. It's kind of that ripstop style. And it works great. I'm not necessarily reviewing the bag itself, but it does work well. It just has a waist strap, and that's it. So it could be slung across your chest. It could be slung over one shoulder. But when I actually carry this outside of the home, like going into places, I legitimately carry it like on my hip, like on my backside. And I frankly don't care. I've reached a point in my life, I'm in my mid-30s, I'm a dad, and I just frankly don't give a shit what anybody thinks. So I rock the fanny pack with no shame. I will say the sizing on this, if you're interested in this bag, and I'll leave a link below. I wear a 38 waist, and I've got a little bit of extra room to expand the waist strap, but if you were like a size, say 42 waist or above, it might actually be a bit too small. So just something to keep in mind there. All right, so let's get into the bag. And see what's in it. So in the front pocket here, just a little slip pouch, I have two things. My wallet, which is a Night Heron leather Great Heron wallet. I always keep $80 cash on me. This is like a dedicated part of my EDC that I always want to have $80 in cash for emergencies. That'll fill up mine and my wife's gas tanks. It'll feed my family a couple times. It'll get me a cab ride. So I like to have some emergency cash. And the other thing is my car key. This is my car key setup. I don't have anything. It's just a key. I've, over the years, downsized my keys to literally just the key. And when I carry my keys outside of the bag, if I do, I'll just clip this on a belt loop and drop the key into a pocket. So that is it for the front pocket. I think there's also a few quarters down in there. Like if I needed to air up my tires, for example, I think there's like 4 or 6 quarters down there, but that's it. I keep the front slip pouch pretty minimal. So that's that. Otherwise, there's just one main compartment. On the back, there is a slip pocket where you could conceivably put something, and these 2 clips. And these are designed with Carhartt's system. The way I understand it is this could be attached to another one of their vessels of some sort. And back here, what I'm currently storing is just one spare face mask. I've got a couple that I kind of use daily, but just in case I forget, because it's nice and flat, I just tuck it back there, and that is it for the back. So let's get into this kind of main compartment here. It's just a zipper, zips from one side only, and it fortunately, you know, zips around. It's not a zipper down the center, which I prefer this setup, so I can kind of clamshell this open. And there's a couple of features that I happen to like about the bag, which I'll touch on, but again, we'll more be focusing on the content. So in the lid itself, we've got this mesh pocket. I like the contrasting color. In here, I've got just a few things. I've got a comb, and this is my favorite comb made by a company called Kent. I use this to keep my beard under control. So we've got a comb. We also have a Leatherman Micra, and this is primarily just for the scissors. I use these things all the time. So I've got that. Some chapstick, especially this time of year, it's good to have some chapstick. And then lastly, a microfiber cloth for glasses, phone, you know, that sort of thing, which I'm actually going to be replacing this here pretty soon with a new product that I got just yesterday from my buddy JD at Shadowborn Hanks. And I've actually got it sitting right here. This is a miniature Hank, basically. And it's got a microfiber backing. And so this is going to take residence in this bag. But that's it. A cleaning cloth, the Leatherman Micra, some chapstick, and a comb. Going into the kind of meat and potatoes here, I try to keep my daily essentials to just that, my daily essentials. These are items that I either do or could conceivably use or need on a daily basis. So sort of my definition of an EDC bag has evolved in the sense that you're not going to find a fire starting kit or emergency rations or anything like that. It's just basic stuff, very basic. So right on top, I've got my sunglasses. These are Oakley Holbrook is the model, and these are the Holbrook XL. I've got a big ass head, so they're great glasses, and I just keep them in a little pouch. They've stayed plane protected, so no worries there. So sunglasses is one thing there, and then as we look down in here, you'll see there is some internal compartmentalization that provides, for me, kind of just the right amount of organization. So I do not prefer just a big open space. I do like some compartmentalization as long as it's not overboard. So let's start with kind of the back slip pockets. On one side, I've got just a little notebook. This is from Moleskine. And then 3 other items. And one is a pen, obviously to go along with the notebook. And the other 2 are redundancies. So I keep a flashlight. This is an Olight i3T. And then an EDC folder, which ironically, and I didn't realize this or plan this, is the same as the one I had out earlier, a Sage 5 Lightweight. This is one of my favorite EDC folders, and I have 2 of them. and this one lives permanently in this bag. So I should have an EDC folder in my pocket already, but if I didn't, I could literally grab this bag and go, because it's already going to have an EDC blade and an EDC flashlight, in addition to the pen and notepad. And when I'm not out traveling or going somewhere or running errands, this does live right next to my desk. I work out of a home office, and I do use and kind of work out of this bag throughout the day as needed. On the left side here, we've got some cologne. It may seem silly, but for me, this is a daily essential. I like to not smell bad, so just a small 1 ounce bottle of what happens to be my personal favorite cologne. So we've got that. Then we've got a pouch here, which we'll touch on in just a moment. To the right of that, we've got a small Altoids tin, and in it are Altoids. It's not a mini survival kit. It's literally just the small Altoids, because I also like to keep my breath fresh. I'm going to eat 2 of them right now, actually, because they're delicious. So some Altoids, pretty straightforward there. We've also got my Apple AirPods. This is just like the first generation, not the AirPod Pros, just basic AirPods in like a silicone case. I listen to music a lot, watch YouTube videos with headphones. I've always got either headphones or a headset on my head, whether I'm working, you know, whether for work or pleasure. It seems like I've always got something going on in my ears. So my AirPods. And then on the far right here, we've got some hand sanitizer. This is something I've always carried in EDC bags. It's obviously a little more relevant right now, maybe, with what's going on, but some hand sanitizer. Pretty straightforward. This happens to be my favorite brand. I hate Purell. I think it has a weird texture and smell. Germex, for me, is the jam when it comes to hand san. So that's it for that main pocket, other than this pouch, which the pouch itself is a product I'm a big fan of. I've talked about it on the channel before. It's made by Manhattan Portage, and this is their coin purse. And for me, this is my tech pouch. So all my tech stuff goes in here. So in here, and I'll scoot the bag back a little bit so you can see all the individual items. I've got a few kind of small items on top. I've got a 3.5 millimeter to lightning adapter, a lightning splitter, so it goes from lightning to lightning, so you could charge and plug in headphones, for example, if you didn't have wireless headphones, and a flash drive. This is a 36 gig, I believe, or maybe 64, made by Kingston. So just a few little doodads there. And then also a lightning to micro USB. So any standard micro USB cable, I can pop this on the end of it and it turns it into a lightning cable. So a few little doodads there. And then inside, I've got a backup set of standard Apple earbuds, which I happen to be a big fan of. Actually, they work well for me. They fit my ears really nicely. So just an extra pair of headphones, a wall adapter with 2 receptacles. This is made by Anchor. I like it because it folds up and it can provide a space for 2 devices to be charging, whether you're charging your phone or somebody else needs to use it. So I've got that. And then 2 kind of shorter sized charging cables. So they are identical. They're both micro USB cables. So if I want to charge my phone, I pop on the adapter. If I want to charge my power bank, which is right back here, then I just charge it with the micro USB cable and the wall adapter. So that's my little tech pouch, the stuff that I, again, either do use or could conceivably need to use on a day-to-day basis. So we'll get a couple of those things stowed away and move along. Just a couple things left. Back here in this little slip pocket, and we can see the layout here, we've got kind of that open area where I had the hand sanitizer and my tech pouch and my AirPods. We've got just this one more little mesh pocket back here. And in the very, very back, I've got a few of these single-use hand wipes. I use these for myself just to wipe my hands, but I'm also a dad. I've got 2 young kids, and for those of you who are dads, you know how things can get. So having some wet wipes, uh, I replace these more often than anything in this bag. So I always keep 4 of those on hand. Next, we've got just a power bank. This one's made by Anchor. This is a, I believe, 10,000 milliamp hour bank. It's just got one input. It's not you know, their largest capacity or anything like that, but I just wanted something that had a relatively small form factor, and it works just perfectly for my needs. And then lastly, we've got my Booboo kit. And I use this pretty regularly. Just in the last probably 4 days, I've needed to use a Band-Aid once, ibuprofen once for myself, and a Benadryl for my wife. I did a whole video on this exact micro Booboo kit and kind of how I put it together and all of the content. So if you look in my medical playlist, you'll see that. So again, super small, super lightweight, and it's something that I do use quite regularly. So one of the common themes you may see here is that this is all basic shit, right? Like, there's nothing here that's like super cool. I mean, if we're being honest, like, this is very pedestrian stuff, and that is kind of where my EDC game is at this point, because I've learned, you know, through trial and error what I actually use. And my EDC has just reduced in size as time has gone on. And so this is just a kind of a perfect sized vessel for me, and I like the organization, and it gives me the opportunity to carry just the things that I need and not have an excessive amount of stuff. You know, I feel like when you say EDC bag or, you know, something like that, people tend to think, you know, a number of different things. It could be something like this. It could be a full-blown, like, 3-day assault pack sized backpack. And I've seen EDC bags, you know, that are really more of like a survival kit or a bug out bag or a get home bag. And so there's this whole spectrum of what an EDC bag could be. And I've kind of lived in every bit of that spectrum over the years. And again, I've just kind of landed on a very simple daily essentials. That's the phrase that I feel like makes the most sense. These are my daily essentials. I do keep other items in my vehicle, extensive amounts of medical gear. You know, I've got some food and some water and radios and maps, and I do have other kits that serve more of that emergency preparedness purpose. But this is EDC. This is everyday carry. This is everyday use. This is basic stuff, and it just has worked out really well for me. So that's it. That's my 2021 EDC update, Fanny Pack Edition. And if I had any advice for you out there, I would say 2 things. One, take a critical look at your EDC and be honest with yourself. And maybe you could reduce the size and weight of what you're carrying around, and maybe create separate kits for other things that may not be quite as necessary. And also, don't worry about what other people think, right? We don't always have to have multicam and Molly and, you know, the tactical brands. Like a $25 Carhartt fanny pack for me is just good enough, and maybe it is for you as well. So that is it. That is my EDC update for 2021. If anything were to change, maybe I'll do an update, you know, 6 months down the road. But again, over the years, I've kind of just landed where I've landed, and I don't really anticipate seeing much change here. Really, the only thing that could change or does tend to go along with this is, you know, I'll carry a water bottle of some sort in my vehicle if I'm out and about. But otherwise, this is it. It's the fanny pack. It comes with me everywhere, lives next to me every day when I'm working, comes with me when I leave, and it goes on my body, on my fanny, on my hip, whatever you want to call it, if I go into anywhere for that matter. So if you live in the Dallas-Fort Worth area and you see a really big dude rocking a fanny pack in, you know, a grocery store, there's a good chance it's me. So that's it. Thank you guys all so much for watching. I really do appreciate it. If you have any questions, pop them down in the comments. I'll try to leave links for a few of the things that we talked about. And that's it. Until next time, take care, be safe, be kind, and be well.